Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God, I'm slaying you. Power of the word, two-edged sword, MC Heaven rocks for her Lord. Thought they crept in unaware, didn't see the gatekeeper standing right there, not getting down with your tactics, undoctrinal practice.
Hey everybody, God bless you, and welcome again to the thecrystaljonesshow. It's the show that's all about life's balance. I'm your talk show host, Crystal Jones. Thank you for joining in. We'd like to say thank you to all of you who support the show week after week. And we thank you for all the wonderful comments that you make about the show. Again, I always tell you, some of you I see on the street and you tell me that you enjoy the show, you enjoy my guests and things like that, that you're learning from it. So we are continuing Black History. This show will be seen probably just right after Black History Month, but we are celebrating Black History every day of our lives. We're Black History. All right. So we thank you all again for, coming and joining the show. Tell somebody Crystal Jones Show is on, and watch the show, share it on social media. Thank you all who share the show. Different people are telling me that they see the show. So we appreciate you. We want to send our prayers and thoughts to the family of Tiger Woods, who was in, a really bad accident from what we understand yesterday. Our prayers and our thoughts are with him, and we're praying that he'll have a speedy recovery. So we want to send our thoughts and our prayers out to Mr. Tiger Woods and his family as he processes through this time. Also, our thoughts and our prayers are with the people from Texas that are going through because of what's going on with it's very, cold out there, and they haven't had the heat and the hot water and all kind of things that are going on with that. And to the family that lost their son, there was a family that lost an 11-year-old boy because of the freezing cold temperatures. Our thoughts and our prayers are with them too. And for everybody at this time, whether they're going through the COVID pandemic, with their loved ones being sick in the hospital and things like that, we're praying for you. And for those of us who are, still, God is blessing us, we're still moving on, moving through it. We're praying for you too, that God will keep you in perfect peace. That he'll keep your mind sane and that you'll be able to walk through this and process through this with the help of the Lord. So today we have something very special for you. I brought my family on board today, and we're going to be discussing the perspectives of the Black man during history. So, of course, Black history is a part of American history because, come on now, you all have been seeing all throughout February, I've been honoring Black people every day. I put them up on social media, the things that our people invented. I've told you the story about how Benjamin Banneker helped to design Washington, D.C. and the Capitol and all of that. So we built this country. We built many kingdoms before we even got here. So our history, I always tell you, it did not start in America. We came from another continent. And over there in that continent, we built other kingdoms. So here we are today. And we've had so many struggles since we've been here. We're still struggling through a lot of different things. But nevertheless, we have still been a blessed people. The Lord has always still come to our aid and helped us. But now we get into the time where we need to turn back to the ways and the laws of our God and stop listening to a lot of the different hype that they try to put us in. We're a blessed people. We can, if we just realize it and come to those terms and go back to the ways of the Lord, we would do a whole lot better. But I'm thankful to see our people who are doing that. I'm seeing that there are some wonderful communities that are on the rise in the Virginia area, what they call the DMV area. There are a lot of Black communities that are doing very well in that area. Also, different areas in Texas, there are Black communities that are on the rise. I live in a highly successful Black community. So I'm, here in New York, in the Bronx, New York. And, people look down on the Bronx like, ew, you live in the Bronx? But they don't know that there are successful areas of people that live here in the Bronx, Black communities that live here in the Bronx that are very successful. All they're going to hear about is the bad, right? So I, wanted to share today with my own family. But I'm going to read to you from the book of Psalms, the 133rd chapter, what the Bible says about family, about dwelling together in unity. Psalms 133, the first through the third verse. It says, "Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down to the skirts of his garments, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore." So when we think about this particular psalm, right, it's talking to us about how God feels about unity, right? So we see there in the first verse, the Lord is commending us to dwell together in unity, not quarreling or devouring one another, but delighting in each other with mutual endearments, sharing together, being together, encouraging one another. God likes that, right? How commendable it is, how pleasant it is. God is pleased with that type of thing. And it talks about in the second verse that, it's like the oil that dripped down Aaron's beard. And so for those of you who know, Aaron was the leader of the Levitical priesthood. So remember, the priesthood, they used to have oil poured upon them and it would come down and it smelled so good. It had a particular flavor. So when you dwell together with your family and you're you all are giving God glory and praise, as I mentioned to you all, we have family prayer and Bible teaching on Monday with our families. And this has been such an awesome thing. We've been able to come together, pray together, discuss things together, read the Bible together. And also we, started doing different workshops together because, our people, we need to learn more about finance and how to do better with our monies. And I'm telling you, God has blessed us. I believe we've been doing this prayer and Bible teaching and workshops now, I think it's going on a year. And thank God, it has really blessed all of us spiritually, financially, every otherwise. So if you can't get together with your own family, how are you going to spread the gospel? How are you going to teach others to follow the ways of the Lord, right? So this scripture brought me in memory of that God likes it when you're together with your family, because you got to start with your own people first. Because the way things are going right now, everything is going back tribal, y'all. Everybody's going back to being with family and everything like that, because this is how God wants it to be. People always talk about, well, I don't know. I just can't wait to get to heaven. But if you can't get together down here, where are you going? Where are your thoughts and things like that? We have to get it together down here amongst one another first. So I want to introduce to you my family. I have 3 different generations of men that are joining me today. I did that purposely. I have Don Roberts. He's my cousin. And he would be the older of the gentlemen that are here today. So we're so glad to see him here on the show, you know, because when I go on the show, I'm representing not just me, I'm representing my family, you know, the people that I come from. And I wish my father were alive to see this today. He would have, oh my gosh, to see Don on the show.
Yes.
He would have got a big kick out of that, right, Donnie?
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Crystal. Pleasure to be here.
Yes, I'm so glad that you were, you know, able to come and be a part of the show. I always explain, you know, I always tell my guests and whatnot about my family, the things that we do together and, you know, that type of thing. And people are always impressed wherever I go. If I'm at work, sometimes people are, you know, when people are talking together and whatnot, they say, really? Your family has prayer? Oh, wow, maybe we should do that in our family. You know, and I'm talking about people from every culture, not just Black people, you know, but I'm talking about other cultures that are like, wow, really? Y'all are like that, you know? So it's, you know, it's awesome. But I wanted to read a little bit of your bio to everybody.
Okay.
He's a community activist. He's a change agent, an entrepreneur, a motivational speaker, and a business political consultant. He's the president and shareholder in a multi-million-dollar real estate company that owns and governs the operations of a 634-unit luxury residential co-op property located in Brooklyn. Apartment units in this property have tripled in the market value under his leadership. He was born in Harlem, USA, and raised in Rockaway Beach, New York. Growing up, his parents always instilled the critical importance of getting a good education, doing your best, pursuing your dreams, and making a positive difference in the world. Over the years, he's been a strategic change agent, specializing in race relations, transforming and improving every community that he's been a part of, from where he grew up to where he works. In the face of today's crisis of the COVID-19 pandemic, he's turned his attention to health and wellness, to educate the masses on boosting the immune system, yes, and the critical benefits of proper nutrition, diet, and mental health. His purpose on the planet is to be an inspiration to all, especially people of color, particularly in the current climate and continued fight for equal justice. He remains committed to his lifetime assignment in leading and helping as many people possible on the journey to achieving their steadfast dreams and personal success. So I present to everybody my cousin, Don Roberts.
Wow. Thank you so much, Crystal. I appreciate that so much. Thank you. Thank you. Such a pleasure to be here with you.
I couldn't read everything, but I tried to.
No, that's fine. That's fine. I'm happy. I'm happy to have shared, just a little piece of what my life's been like over the years. So thank you for having me on the show and for putting that out there. Appreciate it.
Yes, I had to bring you all in today because I get so tired of hearing, oh, the Black man is nothing. Oh, the Black man is this. The Black man is that. And I'm saying to myself, what families are they talking about? Because the Black men in my family,
Right, thank you.
That's not how we roll.
That's right.
Not that, and every family has, people in it that maybe aren't doing so well. But that's not to say that the whole family's no good, or a whole race of people or culture of people are no good. You have good, bad, and ugly in every culture. But I know for some reason the Black people get a real bad rep. Within the Black culture, there's a stigma about the Black man, and also there's a stigma about the Black woman that she's too bossy. She's, she doesn't appreciate men and all of that kind of stuff. But I let people know, no. My father taught me well. I saw him as definitely a very good Black man, who had his own business, did his own thing, taught me a lot about the Black culture and all of that kind of thing. So I got to see the good in Black men, even the Black men that I grew up with, So I always want to bring to the forefront that this is just a stereotype that people see. And it doesn't represent our whole culture. Not at all. So what I wanted to speak to you all about today is the perspective of the Black man in history. So I wanted to start with you spiritually. Where were the Black men during slavery? Where do you feel that spiritually our people were? Because remember, we came from a different continent, all right? And now we're in a new world, and they were trying to make us look like we were these dumb people that came from the jungles, and we just came from swinging trees, and they had saved us, or some kind of crazy stuff that, was the stigma that was attached to us as Black people back then. So what do you feel was the spirituality of the Black man during that time spiritually? Where do you feel, what do you think,
Yeah, well, I think that, certainly the shell shock of being brought to a new world, and essentially being stolen from your country and then brought into a new world, the only anchor they really had was, their beliefs, their spiritual beliefs. And I think considering all of the oppression and all of the hardship that they had to go through, not only just traveling to America or to wherever they landed on this side of the world, I think that they had to hold on to their spiritual anchor, because that was really all they had. As you know, in America, the slaves sang songs. They sang spiritual songs. I mean, these were, it was their therapy, for lack of another term, a better term. This is what kept them going. This is what kept their hope and belief in a better life alive. I think certainly if they didn't have that anchor, then it would have been much worse. So yeah, they were very strong in their spiritual beliefs. They believed in God and trusted God, and just held on until life got better. And after many, many, many decades, that did ultimately happen, and then here we are hundreds of years later.
Right. That's true. I look at the different documentaries and the things that my father I remember Friday nights, we used to sit down in the living room, and my father used to tell me, the history of Black people. He was very pro-Black, very into the culture of Black people. And he would, like you said, tell me what happened, because he was the one that first enlightened me to. He said, Crystal, I know that you've been going to church, with your grandmother, and you believe in Jesus and everything. But he said, but do you know that Jesus was a Black man? And I was looking at him like, what? But he said, yeah. I would say to myself, my father is so pro-Black. He, like, what? So he said, yes. He said, where do you think he's from? And I said, well, he's from Israel, and he said, well, where's Israel? And I said, Israel's, I said, in the Middle East. He said, Israel's in Africa, he was telling me it was Northeast Africa. And it started to, then I started thinking like, okay, there's a little more to this, but this is weird for me because, if for so many years we were taught that the picture that they show us, which is Cesare, I forget how you pronounce this man's name, Cesare Borgia. That's where they got that picture that we see of Christ. That was something that the Romans started. So we were tricked and fooled, so that spiritually we would believe we had these Black souls, and God wasn't going to ever come to our rescue or anything like that. So like you said, all we had was our songs, because as much as they tried to portray that they gave us the Bible, no, they did not. Our people were taught the Bible because the Bible was given to the prophets and the teachers that are in the Bible, and those are Black people. So we knew the Bible over in Africa. But when we got here, they changed it around so that we would feel that we were indebted to be these slaves, that we were supposed to be these slaves. So, like you said, it was our songs of deliverance, because we remember, singing the songs of Zion back home. So we brought that over here. Now, as the years went on, a lot, we kind of lost some of that to some degree, but still they knew too who we were. That was why they brought us here. But how do you feel spiritually? Where is the Black man now today? Where would you say spiritually the Black man is now today?
Well, that's sort of a tough question, Crystal. It depends on it depends on where you are. Like I'm in New York. Different parts of the country are different types of mentalities. But I think globally and overall, Black men are moving more towards God. I think, there was a push probably a couple of decades ago. We all know that the Black church was basically, a place where all families went for their spiritual strength and guidance, in their lives. Black men for a long time appeared, at least in the story, to be missing, from that picture. So over the last couple of decades, I would say maybe the last 10 years or so, Black men have been more present in the churches. I think in today's time, we still need more awareness about that.
Right.
I think particularly with all of the speed of communication and information, people are generally distracted, with all of the shiny objects in life, the wealth, the money, the material things, the bling, and all of those sorts of things. So I think, generally we still need a lot of work to be done. I think that certainly in the times of COVID and where the mortality of the world, has been exposed. I mean, we are all vulnerable. This planet could actually end with a simple thing, and it's not so simple, but with a pandemic like the COVID-19. This is a world-ending event if it's not handled right. So I think that has, shaken up people generally in their consciousness. I think it has brought more people to God that would have normally been brought to God. I think when times are hard, folks always look to God, at least those who know about it.
Right.
So I think generally, the Black man has moved more into the churches, and let's say in the last, like I say, 5 or 10 years or so, and I'm encouraged. That is the anchor for the family. So, returning the Black man to church, or creating an opportunity or setting up the awareness for the desire for Black men to attend church, is really the key, and it's been working.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I agree definitely with what you're saying. I see more of an awareness now, with Black men, even Black men that are incarcerated. I see that too, that they are at least now open. You know what I mean? They're open to researching it and being honest about, we were doing better when we were a family unit and we cleaved to our God and we, did the ways of the Bible and stuff like that. I am seeing more of an awareness in the mind of the Black man. The reason I mention incarceration is because, even statistically, they'll tell, we know that over half of the people that are incarcerated are there and should not be. So that's a whole different thing, that could deal with at another time. But now that they're coming to more of an awareness that we got to do more, there's more to what we're going through than just marching or doing different things like that. You're going to have to seek the help of the Lord God above. You know what I mean? Because we do need that direction. So where do you see the Black man is headed? I think you basically kind of said that they're seeing that that's what they need is to serve the Lord. Is that what, you know?
Yeah, well, I think that, certainly in the times that we're in now, where you see the Black Lives Matter movement and you see a high consciousness around equal justice, especially for people of color, I think it creates a new opportunity, particularly for Black men and men of color to see possibilities where maybe they didn't see before. To just watch the protests, over the last several months and see unity and see love and see people coming together, for a better world. I think that's, generally encouraging. Okay. I think, Black men in particular who have gone through, struggles and trials and literally hell. I think now that we have a new awareness, a new consciousness, that creates a new opportunity. I also think that, shows like yours, Crystal, where you bring the awareness to the folks directly and share insights that maybe they would not have otherwise had. This all makes a difference. I think also with the information explosion, with the TikToks and Facebook and Instagram and all of these sorts of things, people are generally getting exposed in ways that they haven't before. I'm particularly excited about the business side of things, particularly with people of color entering business and being more successful and reaching, high heights of success financially. I think it's very encouraging. So, I'm excited and motivated. And my mission is to just help as much as I can and contribute as much as I can. And that's what I'm going to continue to do.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to move on to Tony, my cousin Tony Richardson. Sorry. I put welcome, Tony.
Hey,
to
Crystal.
The show. We're glad to have you on. And Tony carries the title of Unit Chief at Federal Law Enforcement Agency in Washington, D.C. He considers himself an expert in the areas of pretrial justice, criminal investigations, and community safety. He's worked on the local, state, and federal levels of law enforcement and collaborated with over 20 law enforcement entities, both domestic and foreign. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree with a dual concentration in criminal justice and human services, and a Master of Science degree in public administration and public policy from the Political Science Department at Howard University. He's a member of the first African-American Greek fraternity organization, Alpha Phi Alpha Incorporated. Their aims are manly deeds, scholarship, and love for all mankind. Their motto is, first of all, servants of all, we shall transcend all. Okay, and during most of his adult life, he's been able to serve the community in various capacities with the goal of making a real impact. He's the father of 2 children who he loves dearly. He wants to leave them a better world. He works hard to educate them in areas of spirituality, community service, and physical responsibility. So, Tony, we are glad to have you here on the show. And you are, I don't know if you all mind telling your ages. Is that a problem? Or would you rather not?
A man never tells his age.
Oh, okay. You okay. All right. So so now you would be okay, so Donnie, he would be the patriarch in the group here, right? So then you would be the next in line. And so what I want to talk to you about is mentally, as far as the Black man is concerned. Where do you feel that the Black man was mentally during the time of slavery?
I mean, you have to understand, during the time of slavery, the Black man was often separated from his family. Okay, that alone is huge because we're a proud people. We're very family oriented type folks, right?
Yes.
They were unable to marry even at, I think even after 1865, they were unable to even marry their spouse here in this country. They were under the constant threat of beatings, right? The life of their families. That plays on your psyche. You know, they work from sun up to sundown. They were often used as to breed. So coming from a spiritual aspect of who we are as a people, that played a huge psyche mentally. When they brought the slaves over, when they brought us over, I don't even want to call it slaves, when they brought us and captured folks over, we were from different tribes. You know, Africa's it's a continent. It's a very tribal country, even to this day. Even to this day, you meet Africans, they'll tell you exactly what tribe they're from. And there was different religions as well. You know, we had some Muslims, we had Christians. And like you said, we were the original Christians, really. So, right. So mentally, that our psyche was definitely damaged. However, I do believe in, you know, our faith in the Creator. And I do want to take one quick second out to say thank you for bringing me on and having that respect. And I give blessings to the Creator of all things. But, you know, having that belief in the Creator of all things, I think that was really got us by mentally. But it's not to say there was no damage done. And I think sometimes we still maybe see that.
Mm-hmm. That's true. I mean, I definitely agree with you when I look at how they, you know, try to flip the script on us and were calling themselves bringing us into Christianity. When you read in the Bible and they talk about we were first called Christians at Antioch, when you read who those Christians were, those were Black people. And a lot of times our people never went into the study of who was there. The different names of the people from Niger, which would be what they, you know, today they call it Niger. But those are people from a Black area that were the first Christians that were there. Because remember, our people were scattered to the four corners of the earth. So when Christ came, he said, I came for the lost house of Israel. He came to bring us back to the Father. So we had scattered to other areas. So those people that are there at Antioch, even Paul, who, you know, wrote a lot of the New Testament, they got him confused for being an Egyptian because, of course, being over there on the continent of Africa, we all looked alike as far as being Black, you know. So they, you know, try to, you know, like flip the script on us and tell us that they have brought this Christianity from Europe when that's not true. So, like you said, the mentality had to be off the chain as far as the Black man, because now they were trying to flip the script on us and say that they were bringing us Christianity while buck breaking our men, which, you know what that meant. They were having sex with our men and also having our men have sex with each other. So what type of Christianity was that? Because Christ wasn't doing that. Where in the world did that weird stuff come from, right? That they were trying to force this upon us. So this was pretty crazy. And they would do this on a Sunday, you know, and they would call it pick a nigga day, you know. So they would pick pick our men and pick our women and have them do all this crazy stuff. Have the Black man having sex with his mother, and all of this crazy stuff they would do, and take their fingers and keep them for souvenirs and all of this kind of thing. And they were telling us that this was Christianity and they saved us from Africa. So, yeah, the mentality of the Black man had to be really probably off the chain. Like, what in the world is this here in this so-called new world that they're calling, that they saved us from what? You know, so where do you feel that after all of this now is generations later, but it really hasn't been that many generations ago. So where do you think the Black man is mentally now?
I believe that we've made great strides mentally. Again, as I stated before, we still suffer some of the ramifications of our, enslavement. However, I do think we've made some great strides in a lot of different areas in business, right? I got my cousin Donnie here, successful businessman. I know several other myself. We made great strides being property owners. We made great strides, in higher education. It's not to say that it didn't come without a struggle, but I tend to like to focus on the positive, not forgetting, where we still need to grow at. But I think as today, mentally, I think we've come a long way. We still have a ways to go.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I will say one more thing. I think also in our community, dealing with that mental psyche has always been kind of like a taboo thing, so to speak. You're a man, you got to hold on, don't show your emotions. But I think some of that's starting to chip away a little bit now. But like Adani said, with social media, there's a lot more information out there. So little by little, I think we'll get there. And I do want to say one more thing. I know we're focused on the Black man, but one thing I do want to say is, even in Africa, like you said, before we came here, the women played a huge role in our organized civilizations.
Right.
So that shows up here when we came here as well. So that was just the way we operated. Our women had a very dominant role if we really look back at our history. And that's why I know in history, you can control your future. So.
Right. No, that's very, very true. Like you said, I'm seeing that there Black men that are, reaching out now, because I've even had a gentleman within the community, tell me that he was trying to do some things with the Black teenagers, that maybe the ones that maybe their fathers aren't around, because he was trying to help them like with sports and things like that. And he wanted me to help him like coach a basketball team, which, that's fine. But I'm really not, a basketball coach. I could help him maybe maybe encourage them. But I tried to encourage him that he probably needs to go to some of the other Black men in the community who have children. Maybe they would be more of a help, because I can encourage the men, but I really can't show them how to be a man. You know what I mean? I could only take it but so far, and then, like you said, the women, we're strong in the community, but I even bring this out to a lot of pastors too. I'll let them know I could maybe help your young people to some point, but you need to get the deacons in here too, because I could only bring the males, especially those who are teenagers. I can bring them to a certain point. But after I bring them to that point, they're going to need to see Donnie or Tony, because you all are men. You know what I'm saying? They have to see that man somewhere in their life. If it's not their father, it has to be some man that, can encourage them and kind of fine tune them, to get where they need to go. But I did like the fact that, that they are, like you said, they're not afraid anymore to come and ask for help and say, hey, listen, I see that, you've had success with helping young people, or, they'll acknowledge the different things that they see me doing. So I'm glad, like you said, that they are reaching out for help. So I guess that would answer the next question, where are we headed? Probably, is basically what you said, is that we have to continue to work together, the Black men, along with the Black women, we have to work together to get our communities, back intact. So, of course, I'm going to bring the youngest member who's here today, and that's my cousin Zuri Godfrey. We're going to bring Zuri on.
Hello.
Hey,
thank
Zuri.
you for having me.
So glad you were able to come in, because your input is very important, because you're the younger generation. And, you all are going to get ready to basically, someday be the leaders. Mm-hmm. So it's important to know what you all thinking, where you're headed. But let me read your bio for everybody. Zuri is a senior business management major and a student athlete at Howard University. His personal mission is to be a man who puts God first, family second, He's a problem solver, a smart worker, and servant leader. He is a social entrepreneur and has externships with Facebook in social media market intelligence and the NFL business development, and internships with Google in brand strategy and at PwC in management consulting. In regard to his entrepreneurial behaviors, he is the founder and chief executive officer of both Build and Brand You, a holistic branding startup and Spread the Word, a Christian clothing company. Zuri was born and raised in Hampton, Virginia. All right, so welcome again to the show. We're glad to have you on. And today we want your perspective about finance, because you young people really, y'all are doing it big with Bitcoin. And I see a lot of young Black men in the finance area like crazy now. They have their own stock market training sessions, and these guys are young. They're in their 20s and whatnot. And I'm so glad to see that, because some of our people are still crying over, and I'm not putting them down, but they continue to say, oh, but look what happened to Black Wall Street. Okay, yeah, that happened, but we have more Black communities now that are striving and doing good. It's not just one area anymore. It's, clusters of areas. So we have to keep moving. So financially, I'm going to ask you still, where do you feel the Black man was financially during slavery, as far as what you've read about slavery? Where do you feel the Black man was during the time of slavery financially?
Right. And you made a great point, Crystal, as far as about what I read and honestly what has been taught to me, and which I didn't go to, and I don't think we have enough of them, any predominantly Black schools. So what they told me may have had some truth to it, something that wasn't true. But based off of what I was taught and sort of what I'm learning to understand now as a young Black man, and where we were financially during slavery, where the Black man was and where during slavery from a financial standpoint was really, it was hard. I mean, honestly, being enslaved and not even being able to be a man of your house, of your household, and being able to participate and to provide aid and relief to your community, to your family, it was hard because you had a slave owner who controlled and dictated all of that. And while there were some catalysts who were able to break through and get to that from the majority standpoint, it was hard. It was tough because everything had to go through your slave owner. So to be short, in closing, it was very tough. It was very hard, but there were still some breakthroughs. And as you see across Black women, Black men, and across our culture, we find a way to prevail in some way or sort. And now in slavery, that took longer than it needed to be. It didn't even need to be a thing. But yeah, to answer your question, it was very tough. There was a few who were able to break through and still fend for themselves and make a living of what they had. But yeah, that's my perspective that I can provide there.
Yeah, no, you're right. Basically, the Black man's money was like zero. And, we had a few, like you said, that made it through. You had the Frederick Douglasses, the different ones that were able to escape and go to Philadelphia or Pennsylvania, where they were able to make money and do things like that. But basically, they really didn't have a financial anything. So they had to, that's why we had so many uprisings. So as much as they would make us think that, our people just sat back and were docile, no, our people escaped. And this was what happened. This is the problem as far as really law enforcement, is because in the beginning, they were brought about to be slave catchers because our people were multiplying. Just like our people did in Egypt. You know, we just multiplied and multiplied. So as we were multiplying, our people were killing a lot of the slave owners because they were like, listen, we had enough of this. We out. So they were, you know, doing all kind of uprisings, and they were taking over whole plantations and everything. So the white people were getting afraid of our people. Like, oh, wow, these people are like taking over. Why? Because generations before us, which weren't too many generations, we ruled not only in Africa. At one time, for 700 years or so, we ruled Europe. That's the time that they were talking about the Dark Ages and, oh, it's not clear what happened then. They didn't want to know what happened then because they know that we had ruled Europe at one time too. You know, King James came from over there. He was a Black Scottish nobleman. So, you know, we had people who were in rulership. So imagine coming over here, our people still had that in them. Like, I ain't taking this. You must be crazy. So, you know, and they were also taught by their ancestors that were here that, you know, of who we were when we were in our own continent. So my next question is, financially, where is the Black man now, in your opinion? Where do you feel the Black man is today?
Yes, we are definitely ways ahead of where we were in slavery, which I'm not overjoyous in that, because that's where we should be, and always knowing that there's opportunity to grow. But we are at a position and a place now where we're utilizing resources, whether it's from social media, whether it's from our family, as you see here present today with us within the Roberts Jones family, but then also learning through education and being able to have the opportunity and the accessibility to higher education is important. And so with that, we are now seeking help from and through our education, through our colleges and universities, but also through corporations such as JP Morgan Chase and Morgan Stanley and Goldman Sachs, who have financial literacy programs at different HBCUs, different colleges and universities. So it's a mix of corporate, college, and really information, being a self-starter yourself, the Black man, learning and growing and knowing and being more knowledgeable about the stock market and foreign exchange market, etc. So that's where we are right now. We're in a great place, but I think as we all see and can tell, we're not satisfied. So we're looking to grow and to become more educated and well-versed in this aspect of finance, so we can provide for our family, for our community, and for our legacy to come.
Well, I like that you said that, because what I'm seeing is, thankfully, that you all are willing to each one teach one, you know, and that's what needs to happen. You know, just like our family's doing with the workshops and things like that. That's what you have to do. You have to sit amongst your own people, starting anyway, you know, because if you start with your family, I think you can reach out to everybody else. But if you got it going on already in your own family and whatnot, then you can go to, you know, whether it's the churches or the prisons or wherever it is that you need to go to, you know, share the knowledge for, you know, how to become wealthy and things like that. I think that's the best way to be, to have that type of, you know, attitude, instead of just, well, I'm going to do this, me, that kind of thing. But I think you're spot on with that, because I guess that would lead into where we're where are the Black men headed. Of course, is basically the same thing. And I think it's the each one teach one, just like we do with our family. You know, we're having, you know, workshops for whatever. Just duplicate that, you know, wherever you go, because that financially, that's the same thing that I do, you know, myself. Within the community, I look to help the Black community. I know that we have problems financially. So my thing is I get with sometimes the local banks, and we have workshops at, one particular workshop I had was at a school. I teamed up with a women's group, and the school allowed us to use all the classrooms, and we had the community come, and the different banks came, the real estate, people that are into real estate, people that are into if people need help with foreclosures, or all kind of different things that people could need help with. And it was geared toward Black people because, here in the Bronx, most of us are, whether we're Hispanic or whatever, everybody, the majority of people here are Black. So to have those type of things going on it's needed. We need to continue to do that for the community, because unless we help our people, we're rising maybe to the top or whatever, but you're only as good as, the people that are around you. If you're not teaching anybody, if you're not bringing anybody in, if you're not helping anybody, then what good are you? You know what I'm saying? Because you can't have that selfish attitude. And I think like Donnie said earlier, this pandemic and all of that has gotten us to realize, hey, we need each other. It's time for us to get together as family, as people in community. Here in my community, whatever the young people want. Recently, the young Black men wanted soccer. So, because, I think a lot of the teenagers, I think a lot of them are probably West Indian, because that's a really, big sport with Jamaican, people. They like, soccer. And so I guess, the other Black males here too, they like, now it's becoming popular because they don't really want the baseball anymore. Because at one time we had that flowing. So now that they want that, we had to, get a signature and all of that kind of stuff. And now they have a field for them because they were going hard over the summer. And, they were going hard with the soccer. So they came up to me. They were like, could you sign up, sign so that we can get the soccer field? And I was like, yeah, sure. So whatever our young people want here, we get it for them. They like the sports. They continue to like, what do you call it? With the running. They love, the
track.
athletics. Yeah, the track. Yeah, they love track. They like basketball because the guys, until the snow recently, seriously, when I get home from work at night, because I get in pretty late, I see them out there at the court. I see them out there at the court because they redid the courts for them and everything. It looks nice. And I see the guys out there when I'm coming home from work. They are out there till like 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. But it's just that the snow stopped them a little bit recently. So I guess they got to shovel that up, but
right.
That's what they do. But I really am glad to see that, the communities, the Black communities are growing. Like I said, in the DMV area, which I believe, Tony, you're in the DMV area, right? You and Zuri?
I am, yeah. I live right in Washington, D.C. Zuri's here in D.C. too as well. Yeah,
I've seen you all on the Black Excellence list. They're telling us the top areas for Black communities. And that's on the Black Excellence list. And I was like, yeah, all right. That, that's a good area. And like I said, different areas of New York also, I'm seeing a lot of Black communities arrive. But I'm so glad that you all decided to come. I hope you won't make this your last time. Come again.
We'll be back.
Yes, so that we could talk about different, other topics, whether it's of course, family related, but it could be about different things. If you all want to talk about sports, that type of thing.
Zuri.
That's Zuri. Oh, yes. Zuri's the sports person. Yes,
Zuri's the football running back.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So Bison, right? Is that Bison?
Yep. You know.
All right.
You know.
Yep.
Thank you.
Yeah, we got to come back and talk about that. But I always like to bring different topics with the Black male. I've had different groups come on, and we discuss the different things in the community with the experience of the Black man. So I want to keep that going, and
please do.
And I wanted people to see my family, who I come.
There you go.
Definitely. Right.
So
and Crystal, hey, listen, I just want to say we're so proud of you as well. I know you've been running the show for quite a while, spreading the gospel. Listen, people need to come to God. What happens is once you have enough suffering, you will come to God. And it's just a proven fact. It's statistically proven. So the idea is, don't wait to suffer. God is here for you right now. Jesus is here waiting for you, and so all you have to do is open your heart and accept him. And then, you'll see the miracles and the blessings that will flow. I've had so many great opportunities and testimonials I could tell you about, perhaps on another show. But the reality is that you're the one out there in the forefront. You're making your contribution in the world, spreading the word of the Lord, and we're so proud of you. I just wanted to take the time and say that. And so, we love you and we're proud of you.
Thank you. I love you all too, and I'm just glad that God gave me this opportunity, because this has been going on now. I'm within my 9th year, I believe now.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's been 9 years. So I'm just so glad that I've had this platform for that long, and being a Black woman, you know what I mean? And being able to, come to this. And I encourage everybody, if you go in your area where they have public access TV, and get a show, because when you have a show, you have a voice.
Yes.
You could talk about the issues. You could bring people up to speed as to what's going on in your realm. Zuri, you need a show. You're a young Black
Absolutely.
man. You're in the sports and all that kind of stuff. So many young Black people need to just see you.
Yes.
Just see what you're doing, because that encourages them. Tony, you have so much experience in law enforcement. You can help so many people if they see you on television. Just seeing your face and knowing the things that you've experienced is awesome. Thank you all for joining me. Continue to come back and be a part of the show. Thank you all for watching the show. All of you who watch the Crystal Jones Show on a weekly basis. Remember, you can see it on Sunday at 2:30 on channel 68 and 34. You could also see the things that I do on Instagram for Black History Month. Of course, I'm, showing different things about the achievements of our people. So continue to watch the show, spread the word. The Crystal Jones Show comes on every Sunday, 2:30 to 3:30, channel 6834. Or always go to YouTube, the Crystal Jones TV Show, and I upload all of my shows there. So thank you for joining in. God bless you. God keep you is my prayer. And I always tell you, stay balanced.
Stop using church intimidation, control and manipulation. Jezebel and all them spirits fall back, not trying to hear it. Go with Jesus, walk in peace. On your pew can sit that beast that we're fighting in the world. I'm that JC Supergirl, Jesus Christ, belt of truth, arm of God, I'm slaying you. Power of the word to